Hello and welcome to the lighthouse. I'm missing some people, I just noticed. Things aren't as neat as it was previously. I got spaces. I have two little plants that are in the window, so don't mind the gaps. Don't mind the extra stuff. Again, I need to organize my life, it would seem. But anyway, this is going to be the rest of the month of September reading for fire signs. I'm going to say this first because of the way that I did the earth signs. I need to be even and follow through with the remainder. But I don't think I'm going to do the same overview message for everybody again, because again, I ended up uploading the other signs separately as opposed to having one big movie with a timestamp. So I just made things more complicated for myself, because now I have to do extra editing by adding in the same overview message for everybody. So again, I have to resave it as its own movie. But again, we live and learn. We can't hold on to regrets of approaches that we've taken to certain things. And perhaps this is the theme as we have forgiveness here for the Scorpio. Scorpio, Leo, which is who I'm going to read first. But again, let me read the overview. Look, we're not perfect over here. So again, I'm going to read the overview, which is basically this and these two cards. And then you're going to see a cut. And then again, I'm going to do everybody individually. But let us read this first. By the book. See what we got. This is again for fire signs for the rest of the month, this overview. Essential meanings: abiding by social rules, conformity, respecting cultural or family customs, and universal laws. The oracle's message: the universe works within a structure of divine laws and principles that provides a framework for human experience and evolution. The law of abundance, the law of prayer, the law of karma, the law of attraction, the law of thought, the law of compensation, and the law of nature are only a few that are known. These principles create perfect order and operate from a kind of precision beyond human understanding. Even revolution has its place in universal law. Human beings, in turn, have their own laws and customs that vary from culture to culture and family to family. Laws keep social order and govern behavior. That's another video. Reflecting an instinctive understanding that harmony is important. This is the time to learn these laws and conform to them rather than being the rebel and flouting them. When this card appears, submit to structure and follow the rules even if they seem to make no sense. Release resistance, for universal laws will correct any disharmony. Open your eyes to those universal laws, and it will be easier to go by the book at this time. And again, that depends on who wrote that shit. What book you talking about? Listen, like I talked about, that's another video. Yeah, that's a zero video. If we're going to talk about how people are trying to govern behavior and keep social order, and if you know what I'm saying. So again, this could be talking about world events and how, again, cause and effect. We reap what we sow, and the choices we make today will affect our tomorrows. Again, this is the law of karma, right? Which again is why these people know that you have to have people's cooperation and consent to be free from the repercussions of karma. Why is every time I start a video, somebody out there has to be making some kind of noise? Why? Whether it's some construction or some truck or some. But listen, the sound of the birds come yonder, and the noise gets further away. Perhaps this is the sign that all things pass with time. Just how or why we need to release that which is temporary to allow for exactly. So again, I don't know which book we talking about here, but the book, like I said, cause and effect, reaping what we sow. You know, what you allow continues. If we're talking on the global scale kind of situation, and thus chaos ensues. But as I said, we can't get into too much of that here because there are eyes and ears everywhere looking to silence those that speak truth. Relationship message: getting along with others entails understanding and respecting who they have become as a result of their environment, culture, and experience. Find the middle ground that allows the relationship to flourish while honoring the individuality of the other person. Play things by the book instead of trying to break the rules or pressure others to conform to the way you want to do them. Oh, that must be rules. They were talking about like doing the person, and I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make really any sense here. Okay, your connection will deepen as a result. Again, indeed, we can't change people. People have a hard enough time trying to change themselves. But at the same time, not dealing with situations or people that refuse to change. And in that scenario, you always have to change your role to meet your standard so that you don't compromise yourself by dealing with other people's whatever it is. Always making sure we have healthy boundaries and say, hey, you do you. Don't tell me how to do me. And we shouldn't, again, force our beliefs because, again, we've got a lot of that going on here. And sometimes, even if we have the best of intentions, it's like talking to walls. Or, again, people are far into their conditioning where they ain't even trying to hear anything you got to say. And in these instances, again, there's only so much you can do. Can't change people. Can't force them to whatever it is. We can give the information and leave it alone. And then again, if the other person or whatever it is isn't showing up or on the same page, we got to keep it moving. Right? Again, everybody's a product of their conditioning. But when people refuse to move beyond their conditioning, this is when decisions need to be made to move away from these people. Prosperity message: at this time, you can expect a return on your investment. Whatever you have pursued, be it a dream you've long cherished, a skill you've cultivated, or a service you're called to, will come to you if you are willing to go by the book. You don't need to reinvent the wheel to be successful. Follow in the footsteps of others who have already achieved the things you're striving for. You can learn a lot by observing the structures that are already working. Your creative projects and commitment to prosperity are in alignment with the needs of the world. But impatience may tempt you to cut corners to get there more quickly. Stick with what you know works, and you will attract abundance. So maybe some things are coming from efforts that have been consistently made towards achieving something, whether that be a project or a career or whatever it is. Even investing in our own healing, perhaps bringing in new opportunities to test our sea legs with new people. Protection message: now is the time for a real change in consciousness as you are incited to revolt. Challenge the structures that are limiting authentic progress. It is not enough to rebel in small ways. This is a call to revolution. Exactly. Focus on what you really want to achieve, regardless of whether it feels so far outside the box that the established order may reject it. Genius, invention, and transformation are rarely comfortable and less likely to be accepted by the mainstream. It may be time for you to say no to the way of your group. Take a stand and make real changes. That's what I'm talking about. It could be that the structure of your inner world is alerting you to the need for a complete overhaul. This is a time for transformation, so let go of the fear of change. Your intuition will lead you through the darkness. There is no turning back now. Ain't that right? Trust that the light will dawn. Epiphanies will surely lead to miracles. There you have it. And for some, there needs to be some waking up and smelling the coffee. Perhaps we already have, or wishing other people would. Especially society at large, because a lot of people sleeping. And they're going to get a big wake-up call. Oof. Open your eyes and accept the truth of your situation. Again, this could be something you've already done, something you're currently doing, something you need to do, or something you're wishing other people would do. Or maybe somebody else realized something in regards to you. Who knows? Maybe a little of everything. And then we have obsession isn't just a cologne. Give it a rest. Sheesh. Clinging, ruminating thoughts, chasing that which constantly eludes us, or overinvesting in something or someone that offers no return. Toxic behaviors, addictions to people, situations, or ways of being could also be a sign of codependency. Right? Watch out for those old behavior patterns sneaking in. Don't be chasing nobody. Don't be clinging. Try not to drive oneself crazy by overanalyzing, or again, putting our emotions into people or situations that are stressing us out, right? Try to again focus on the self, working on yourself, working to get on your projects that very well may have some possibility if we, you know, keep it going. Keep heading in the direction that you're going in here, right? And again, this can go inside with this. You know, some people have seen the light and they're not trying to deal with anything like this ever again, right? Not trying to chase nobody, because again, once you've healed that energy, you'll notice that where certain things where you used to have a completely different reaction, yeah, that's how you know you've healed. When you're not tempted to fall back into this, I need to jump through hoops and prove myself. Chasing after people, or you get over that shit. You're like, look, been there, done that. I've been woke up to that shite. Exactly. Nobody got time for that. If people ain't gonna show up, if people ain't gonna look, can't be, especially not in this time. It's like apocalypto over here. Ain't nobody got time to be chasing nobody. You can do better. Keep it moving. Exactly. This is what we're needing to always keep in mind, right? Know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run, know when to play things by the book, know when to be outside the box. Assessing each individual situation and figure out again what's waste of our time, what is things that we need to not let that hamster in the wheel on certain thought processes, and again being awake and alert, or again wishing other people would. So that's it for the overview, and that's again going to be for everybody. So we're going to stop it here, and I'll get into the individuals. Hello, this is for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars. Anyway, you have Sagittarius in your chart, but mostly those are the ones. And hopefully I won't forget what I just realized I forgot on the last person's reading. Forgot to grab a couple little things from the elephant over there. But hopefully I won't forget with you. Now, this is going to be again for the rest of September. And let us begin. I was going to say something, but then I changed my mind. I'll say it in another thing. Conclusions are within reach. That's a pretty picture. So full moon eclipse, that means something's being removed so that something can be revealed after. Work through your fears, right? So we're already, we're obviously struggling. It's like, who isn't, right? We're having some worries and anxieties, and some of those things that we may be fearing are going to be resolved. Whatever that is for you, who knows? But for some here, it has to do with feeling stuck or worrying one cannot get out of, walking in circles. See here in this card, usually in the traditional one, it's one person there, and they are feeling trapped, but it's a self-imposed feeling trapped, and that could be due to fear keeping them stuck in certain things, again ruminating thoughts, just going round and round, but never resolving, never getting out of that loop. And for some, again, maybe there's going to be some resolutions or some things to help you get out of that. And here we got two people. Now, You can feel like you're going in circles with somebody and getting nowhere. There's somebody, could be anybody, soulmate, work situation, any kind of romantic thing, a family thing, also just by ourselves. I mean, just because there's two people in this card doesn't necessarily mean it's not just you. Or maybe you feel like you're going in circles with multiple people, feeling stuck again. Swords, deal with our mental health, but they can also deal with medical procedures, operations, swords cutting. So for some, you might feel like you're going in circles in regards to your health, feeling trapped, and you're in looking for someone to help you out of this. And perhaps the puddles that are on the floor are tears we've shed over our situation. And it's weighed on us emotionally as well, because there's green in this picture. Green for me is like heart chakra, heart space. Blue, of course, is throat. This is kind of an indigo, so it's also, third eye, or again, trying to see a way out beyond our normal sight. Again, maybe gathering information, trying to, being vocal. Again, blue being throat chakra. Looking for some help, but not finding it. Because again, you just feel like you're going in circles with whoever comes in there with you, but there's nobody finds a solution out or a way out. You have Prince of Swords, which is Knight of Swords. In traditional card, there's the guy rushing in on the horse, taking action, impulsive actions, usually very could be people that are like angry or have harsh words, but it's also intention, strong intention to succeed, right? Which is, again, maybe there's a strong intention to try to figure out what's a way out. And again, feeling afraid that you won't find it. I hope this music isn't too loud, because it doesn't sound so good through the microphone when it's a certain volume. I'm trying to see if there's anything else because that's just what I'm gathering here. But obviously, it deals with, thoughts, speaking, again, could be medical stuff related because of the swords, or it could just be in general, in wanting to take charge, or this determination, right? Now, yeah, I don't see it. I don't think there's, unless, I mean, again, because I didn't shuffle these for them to come out in any reverse things. But again, even if it was reversed, Knight of Swords in reverse is, scattered thoughts, or disregard for the consequences of our actions. Like we don't care what the hell we're doing as long as we're doing what we want to do, kind of things. But I don't think that that's the case because, again, there's a fear here, right? Though your thoughts could be scattered, unclear, unsure. Same thing. Same thing of what I said, right? Now, again, and if this was in reverse, the Eight of Swords, then we're being released from this because we're open to new perspectives. We get out of feeling trapped, which again, this could come in with the conclusions, right, are within reach. So maybe there might be a way out for some in whatever situation you're in, or again, this is what you're hoping for. It also speaks in reverse, speaks about being open to change and self-acceptance. So again, for those that are not dealing with any kind of health things, medical things, although mental health could be obviously a part of this, right? If you're dealing just with other stuff, and maybe you're struggling with trying to find a way out of whatever the situation is for you, you're needing to believe that there's something involving, because I think that there's other issues at hand here. Some of it may stem from, again, because you got self-worth. So this is sacral chakra, right? It's about how we feel about ourselves. This is about stuff, again, as always, stemming from childhood, something involving our childhood that has played a part in, again, our self-esteem, our self-worth, right? So this can even be about an inability to speak one's truth, because we're afraid to express ourselves. Inspiration message: people, events, and material objects beyond your frame of reference are being drawn to you. Aim higher, for you will draw even greater experiences into your life. Allow your energy to grow. Receiving is an action. Personal inquiry: how do I relate to the word deserving? Am I ready to allow myself to receive what others may not? Key ideas: greater knowledge, innocent curiosity, being rewarded, receiving divine love. Keywords are faith, self-love, and value. You're the first one that I'm pausing a lot with for some reason. Because again, I mean, being a general reading, it could be so many things that could be having us feel stuck. Or again, because I didn't shuffle these in a way for them to be reversed, maybe you've already found a way out. Maybe you are learning to value yourself. Maybe you are being encouraged to continue to work through whatever fears you may be having as far as, testing out your sea legs, or pursuing something. But there is, again, definitely a sense of needing help, or needing, or looking for someone to help us out of whatever it is that we're going through. And maybe, again, we're feeling some kind of way because it's like a culmination of maybe perhaps all of our stuff. Maybe part of it is childhood things creeping up to the surface as well. And again, people are going through all kinds of things right now. That, again, it could be a combination of many things. But I'm definitely, because I'm not clarifying, I'm not going in, I'm trying to, because, again, these readings are so long. But I don't know, hopefully something I said makes some kind of sense. Here you have, I am safe in the universe, and all life loves and supports me. I breathe in the fullness and richness of life. I observe with joy as life abundantly supports me and supplies me with more good than I can imagine. I release all fears and doubts. Again, with the fears. I accept myself and create peace in my mind and heart. Again, this kind of falls with self-worth. I now choose to free myself from all destructive fears and doubts. Freeing oneself. 8 of Swords. I am loved and I am safe. Again, conclusions within reach. I mean, even just that one card kind of touched on again, there's something here. My income is constantly increasing. Again, looking for help. Again, because for some, it could be money things, right? Afraid of, again, feeling trapped. Can't find a way out of our money. Again, it could be so many things. And again, and some may resonate, some may not. Not every single card in the thing will resonate. So that's supposed to just take what resonates and leave the rest. But think positive in regards to one's income, because if we think it, hopefully we put it out there, because that's what I'm trying to do. I begin now, today, to open myself to ever-increasing prosperity. I am flexible and flowing. I am open to the new and changing. Every moment presents a wonderful new opportunity to become more of who I am. I flow with life easily and effortlessly. I experience love wherever I go. Love is everywhere, and I am loving and lovable. Loving people fill my life, and I find myself easily expressing love to others. Now, are we noticing a pattern here, or is it just me? Yeah, there's definitely, there's a concern with money. There's a concern with, or there's a feeling some kind of way in regards to our worth and our value in other people, right? Worried about money. And again, there might be a feeling of, maybe we're feeling vulnerable like a child in a way right now, right? Because this is a little kid here, right? Maybe all that we've got going on makes us feel a little in need of, I'll put it this way, in need of meditation, Crown chakra. To see more clearly, close your eyes. Heart chakra. Compassion. Resolve your conflicts with compassion. This is even having compassion for yourself. Taking it easy on yourself, not stepping into patterns where we're, the wounded child. Again, just beating ourselves up, stinking thinking of any kind where we're putting ourselves down or we're not feeling any worth, right? As you have another heart thing here. Love. Love is a verb, so make it your most treasured action. And then expression, throat chakra. Express your true self. The world needs you. Remember I said I saw green and blue in here, and it's kind of like an indigo, so then that would be like these two colors mixed together. Isn't that interesting? And these are the same kind of messages. Again, swords deal with expression, thoughts. I tell you, this stuff still, it's interesting. How it all comes together, But regardless of whatever is going on here, remember you're a goddess. Express your divine feminine energy, embracing its magical intuition and nurturing qualities. Have you asked for help? Have you asked your angels for help with this? You're like, hell yes, I've asked. I've asked the angels, I've asked other people too, and yet I'm still feeling, Your angels want to help you with this situation. However, they require your permission before they can intervene in your free will choices. And then we have parents. Didn't I say here about the child? Here. And then we got parents. The divine truth is that your parents eternally love you to the best of their ability. The angels are helping you heal from any pain associated with your mother or father. Didn't I just say about childhood wounding stuff and where our self-worth comes from? What did love look like to me as a child, right? And of course, some of us, we were not born in ideal situations. Whatever people's stories are. Some people only have one parent. Some people never know who the other parents are. Some people are, whatever it is. It's at the end of the day, everybody's here on their own path, on their own journey, learning their own lessons, doing the best they can with what they know at the time. And most of the time, and everybody's a product of their own, of the conditioning, what their home environment was. What did love look like to them as a child? So that's why, so there comes a point where we have to kind of look at, well, nobody's perfect, right? And again, many times when people have, many people, again, there's broken children in an adult body, pretty much everybody. Everybody's got some kind of something. Some worse than others. But, you know, again, a lot of people's lesson in this life revolves around self-worth, self-love, self-respect. A lot of people are born in situations that open that wound and sets the stage for them to, again, make all kinds of choices that later in life they probably wish they didn't. And again, this is the journey that we're on, and we must have compassion for ourselves. You know, hindsight's 2020. We must try to have compassion for others, including, again, if we have to forgive our parents for whatever it is. And again, a lot of people who have that wound of lacking self-worth, one of the biggest obstacles for that is, again, learning to love yourself, learning to be okay by yourself. Some people, again, have abandonment issues, but they can't be alone. And it affects them, and it makes them jump from relationship to relationship, however it manifests for people. So, I don't know where I was going with this, but the healing comes, I guess I should say, when we become okay with those things. You know, because we know that at some point during the day, people are going to show up, probably. So, we can't be, you know, being alone is good. This is, again, where maybe we should take opportunities to nurture ourselves in some way, learn something new. But for some, again, you know, whatever it is, it's finding a way to get ourselves unstuck. And if it's from help from outside sources, you know, hopefully there is some conclusions within reach for whatever this is that's kind of going on here. For some, you know, it might be you're the parent. And again, we have parent-child dynamics where, again, you're the parent. Who, again, it could be however this fits for you here. Again, I'm not clarifying things. I'm not going in, because look at this. We're already half an hour. But I feel like there's multiple layers to this. And you're the first reading that seem to be, I don't know which avenue to take here. You are profoundly clairvoyant. So perhaps some of you have the gift. Maybe upon in your search, you'll find it, you'll be led to it or something. Trust what you see in your mind's eye as well as with your physical sight, for your spiritual vision helps you with healing, teaching, and guidance. Animals. You understand animals and communicate with them intuitively. Trust your inner guidance, as the animals are part of your life's work. For some, having a pet can change a lot. A lot of people need to have pets because, again, you got to have something in the house, something to say hello to, something to say goodbye to. You know, pets are wonderful. So maybe for some, It's advising you to get a pet, right? Or for some, maybe you're being called to do some kind of work with animals, because we also have study here. Reading, research, and education help you gain confidence and clarity about your career. So maybe that's how one's money situation might improve that we're worrying about, right? You're on the right path. Keep doing what you're doing because it's working. So again, for some, maybe you've already found your self-worth. Maybe you've already gotten yourself unstuck. Maybe you're realizing again what you have, appreciating what you have, working on new career options for yourself, following new passions. You're being encouraged to do so. We've got spiritual teacher here as well. You heal with your classes, sessions, and seminars. So some of you might be spiritual teachers. Some might be you're seeking out spiritual teachers to help you heal, to help you learn new skills to cope with self-worth. Well, obviously, if you're here. But again, maybe these kind of things will help you in some of these areas that you might be struggling with. Or maybe some go see, holistic teachers. Holistic, even though this is spiritual teacher, I'm still thinking of like holistic kind of treatments if this is anything involving medical stuff too. Chakra clearing. Archangel Metatron, call upon me to clear and open your chakra using sacred geometric shapes. Brilliant idea. Archangel Uriel, yes, your idea is divinely guided. Please take action to bring your idea to fruition. Somebody's doing something over here. Comfort. Archangel Azrael, I'm with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. And all is well. Archangel Jeremiel, everything is happening exactly as it is supposed to, with hidden blessings you will soon understand. So for some, that's where this conclusions are in reach come. Caring. Heaven cares for me, and I keep my heart open to caring about myself, others, and the world. Giving and receiving. I balance being generous and receptive because both are equally important. And prayer. Instead of worrying, I pray about this situation to bring about real solutions. Then we have some cognitive behavioral therapy. Think. Negative core beliefs. Write down a day's worth of your thoughts that lead to distress. Look for reoccurring themes. What patterns do you see? Catastrophic fears, expecting to fail, believing others take you for granted. Specific thoughts often come from underlying core beliefs, and core beliefs again stem from childhood, right? About ourselves, others, in the world. By identifying your core beliefs, you can more easily recognize and respond to the thoughts that come from them. Observe your thoughts. Find a quiet space. See, all this is thoughts. You got none with swords here, too. Thoughts. There's a lot of thoughts going on here. Find a quiet space and bring to mind a situation that's been mildly troubling you. Notice the thoughts your mind has about the situation. What are your questions, judgments, or fears? Practice watching these thoughts and studying them with curiosity without being completely absorbed in them. Be aware that thoughts are products of the mind, not direct indicators of what is true. Expect the best. When you find yourself worrying that something won't turn out well, try making a positive shift in your thinking. Instead of assuming the worst, ask yourself, what if it turns out great? As long as the outcome is uncertain, it's better to assume it will go well and to focus your attention on what you actually can control. Finding contentment within. Didn't I mention that about, being okay, being alone? Some people struggle with that. And maybe again, it's learning to be okay within, enjoying the peaceful time to oneself. Notice today when you're telling yourself, I'll be happy when, or I can't be happy because. We usually blame our feelings on our circumstances, or health, or income, how others treat us, but people find ways to be content in the worst conditions and miserable in the best. True contentment lies in opening to your life just as it is. It can start right now, exactly where you are. Be accountable. Plan a specific time in your calendar today to do an activity you've been putting off. I did that today. I made a phone call. I'm dreading, but I did it. Now tell someone you know well that you're going to do it today. If you live with others, then post your plan somewhere that everyone can see. Example, the family whiteboard. Use accountability to raise the odds that you'll follow through on your intention. Plan rewarding activities. Write down 3 activities you would like to do more often that bring you enjoyment and or a sense of accomplishment. Plan a specific time in your calendar to do one of these activities each day for the next 3 days. Notice any effects these activities have on your emotions. Spread joy. Think of someone in your life whom you care about deeply. What's one thing you could do for them today that would make their life better? It could be something small, like making them a cup of tea or doing one of their chores. Since feelings often follow action, don't wait until you feel like doing it. Lead with action and see what happens. Or, if you feel like you need someone to make you a cup of tea, then you can kindly hint. Because sometimes the giver needs to be receiving. The nurturer needs to be nurtured. You know what I'm saying? So one also, doesn't need to feel like they need to take everything on themselves either. Don't be afraid to ask for, as again, they got the person in there. Maybe we're needing to ask, remind people that once in a while we get thirsty and a cup of tea would be nice. Open to reality. This is B. When you find yourself feeling annoyed or frustrated today, notice your thoughts. Are you silently insisting that reality should be different than it is? But of course, no one wants shitty reality. Of course, it should be different. But it is what it is. That thing should work better, be easier, go faster, be better organized. Let go of the struggle as you open to the reality that is. Oof. Loving kindness. Sit comfortably in a quiet place. Take 3 slow, calming breaths. Bring to mind someone you deeply love and mentally send them these wishes. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you find ease in your life. May you be free from suffering. Feel the glow of loving kindness radiating from inside you. Dwell in that love as you direct these wishes towards yourself. May I be safe. May I be happy. Again, the volume changes, and I think it's too loud. Waves of breath. Set a timer for 3 minutes and sit comfortably with your eyes closed. See yourself seated peacefully on a sandy beach. Feel the breath moving in and out like the ebb and flow of waves on the shore. Treat each thought that appears in your mind like a bird that walks into view. Let the birds do what they like while you breathe in the waves. Isn't that lovely? And now we've got, you had a lot of cards come out for the inner child message. And again, we have the inner child here, the little child, right? But you have a lot of inner child cards here. I am blessed. I'm going to tell my parents 3 things I appreciate about my family. And again, and if you don't have parents in your life, again, maybe there is some kind of issue there. Maybe you've lost both your parents. Maybe you're feeling a little lost, or you don't have a support system anymore. Maybe again, it's causing, when people are struggling, usually you turn to the parents, right? You can always go back home kind of thing. Maybe some people don't have that option now. Who knows? Like I says, there could be so many layers with all of this here. That's why people are contemplating careers and job and money and trying to figure out, again, their stuff. And it could be making them feel not so swift. But again, or if you have kids, whoever you gotta tell, or even if you're just telling yourself, that you're blessed. Tell yourself about 3 things you appreciate, even just about yourself. Right? Or tell the people, whoever. I'm a nice person. I'm going to give someone a compliment today. I am helpful. I'm going to look for opportunities to help others today. And again, but if you need help, don't be afraid to ask. I am happy. Like I said, have someone help make you a cup of tea. Whatever it is. I'm happy. I'm going to list 3 things that make me smile. I am respectful. I'm going to be polite and considerate of everyone I see today. I am patient. I'm going to practice taking 3 deep breaths so I can do this next time I get frustrated. And I have a growth mindset. I'm going to tell my parents what I learned from a past mistake or challenge. Or again, tell whoever. Because even if the parents aren't around, the inner child still is inside and likes to share things. Like the kid that comes home with his drawings and then they get to put them on the refrigerator. Ah, the things we miss. See, I didn't forget. Let's see what you got here. You got something on the edge. Adventure. Maybe you're on the edge of an adventure. As conclusions are in reach. Play. Openness. Release. And respect. Again, respecting oneself, self-worth, self-respect. Releasing what we need to release, being open to new experiences and adventures. Because seems like the adventures are never ending in this place, despite what we may think. And on that note, I wish you well. I wish you healing. Oh, wait. For those who have romantic things going on, see, I was about to forget something. For those with romantic things going on, what romance cards do you have for Sagittarius for the rest of September? For those that are looking for relationships or dealing with relationships, Good advice. Healing family issues. I told you this is a multi-layered cake over here. Your love benefits as you forgive your parents. Again, with the parents. Interesting. Release your ex. Time has come to clear your energy. This again talks about with the release, and X could be anything. Could be an actual person, could be the past, could be whatever is not serving us as far as our own stuff, behavior patterns, mindsets, whatever it is, whatever's got to go and get cleared out. We need to let it go so we can free ourselves from whatever is causing our despair. Yeah. And again, family issues could be just anything. Doesn't necessarily have to be, forgiving one's parents. It could be just any kind of family stuff. And again, we bring in baggage when we're unhealed. So again, part of that journey of figuring out how the hell did I get here or in this situation or wind up with the same types of people, over and over. Usually that comes from some wounding in childhood. And then, of course, once we've learned that and healed that and reflected on our family dynamics and all of these things, that's where the forgiveness of everybody kind of comes into play. Because, again, if that was karma that you came into this life to heal, the wound had to be made. And usually it's made in the environment you're born into, because that's where it starts. So again, you can look for big spiritual perspectives of things. Does it mean situations don't stink? Of course not. But it's again kind of getting a bigger picture understanding of why things happen or why our lives go certain ways. Again, some of it is our own foolish choices. Some of it is preordained. Some of it, again, however this works down here in this friggin' place. But again, trying to always come to the conclusion that no matter what it is that we've been through, that it was for us and not against us, as we try to put again. It's the silver linings and everything. Right? Again, it doesn't change that it sucked. We just try to find peace and move forward. Any other advice here? Romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. So this is about, again, following our passions, right? Or perhaps it's passion with somebody else. Expressing our passions. And then you have worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. So for some of you, you've got something on the horizon. If we can release and heal and be open to new experiences, right? For some, waiting around too long for certain people to come back around or whatever. Maybe some people are needing to, again, find their self-worth and say, screw this shit. Release that situation, heal whatever, and know that if you want something like this, it's worth waiting for than settling for less than. Again, depending on there's all kinds of probably scenarios over here. And let go of control issues. Allow the situation to unfold naturally. So for some, we're needing to just, again, learn to go with the ebb and flow of this crazy river of life. And if you are dealing with a romantic interest, let's see what song dedications they might have for you. So if any romantic interests of Sagittarius, are there any songs they'd want to dedicate to Sagittarius? Sagittarius in relations or have a interest? Is there any song dedication the interest would send to Sagittarius? Encore by Sherilyn. Oh, that's too many. I Want to Be Your Lover by Prince. I Heard It All Before by Sunshine Anderson. Real Love by Mary J. Blige. And Crush on You by Lil' Kim. So there you have it. And until next time, Sagittarius, take care. Bye-bye.